This video contains gratuitous use of profanity and uncomfortable pauses to compensate for lack of professionalism and original thought. Viewer discretion advised.
From the Survivor Series, we bring you the Nerdy Manroom Show. Your hosts, Hassel and Monster. Kick us off, Monster.
Hassel hadn't been too long this time. We've actually been on a pretty decent schedule lately, even though with all my travel, you can see I finally made it home, but I'm only here for like a week. Then I go back out on the road again.
We are on a roll. As they call in baseball, that is a streak.
Yeah, don't say that because, you know, streaks have to end around here, especially when we're talking Survivor Series and wrestling.
It do.
But before we get too far into the show, let's do a couple things. Thanking our sponsors. Thank you to The Zone Collectibles. You can visit them on the internet at thezonecollectibles@gmail.com and on Facebook at The Zone Collectibles, or in their store at 305 Main Street, Tifton, Georgia. Visit them for all your nerdy needs, from comics to Legos, trading cards, toys, games, and more. Help them support the local artist community through their cause of bringing unity through community. Fandoms unite. And before we get too far into the crux of the show today and our main topics and stuff and our Geek Week, I do want to do a quick special announcement thing. And I know, Hassel, we didn't really talk about this much, but it's come up a little bit because I've seen a couple of different things. Number one being, you know, JDS passing in, and then just recently talking to a friend of the show about some things. But, you know, we pick at a lot of stuff, but we try not to bully and you know, center a target on people and things like that. So, you know, we want to make sure that everybody knows that this is a positive environment. We may joke and mess around, but we are against bullying. And if you are depressed and if you are feeling bullied or anything, reach out and seek help. I mean, there are plenty of resources out there, and that's far better than the alternative as we've seen of late. So we just want to make sure we put that special announcement out there today as well.
Yeah, we actually shared on the Facebook and Instagram. There's a page you can go to, and they specialize in that sort of thing. So, like Monster said, never hesitate to help. We're active on social media all the damn time. Even if it's just one of us assholes, reach out.
Yeah. There's always things out there, and as well, you know, be kind to each other. We don't have to. I mean, some of these people get into the depression because of how others treat them, and that shouldn't happen. We can be, even if we disagree, we can still be respectful of each other. We can agree to disagree, and we can just leave it there. But with that, after that special announcement, let's go straight into Geek Week, Hassel. I know that I don't have a ton of stuff because I have been traveling, and it's a holiday here for us in the States. But I did have a few things pop up, and I know you did too. I think I went first last time, so I'll let you kick us off today.
Well, I got a special arrival in, Monday, I'm sorry. And I was super, super excited because Serpentor arrived, finally. And I was like, holy shit. And which I'll give Hasbro top-notch kudos, because it hadn't been that long ago we pre-ordered him. He's one of the few pre-orders that has, you know, bam, on time. And I did an unboxing mode last night, and he looks fucking great.
And you say on time, but he's actually early because he wasn't due to ship until December 2nd.
He beat Mindbender. How did that happen?
And Mindbender is actually, you know, for reference, Mindbender for both of us, because we both ordered one. They're both actually shipped now. That they're just waiting to be picked up for the shipment. So
yeah, I believe
the shipping label was created
Monday. It should be here, I believe. But Hasbro was top notch. And like I said, Spintor is so cool. I took a lot of pictures last night as I was unboxing this thing. So I will be posting a unboxing reel or something on Facebook or Instagram, kind of share with you guys. But it's really, really cool. He is massive. And just the figure himself, I mean, I kind of stood him there. You can't really tell next to Slaughter or Gung Ho, because, you know, the retro Gung Ho, he's kind of a big dude too, and especially with the cap. But him and Slaughter, you could tell a difference. Where you could really tell was like him next to the Pit Viper or Zaymont and Tomax. Holy shit! When he was next to Zaymont and Tomax, I was like, whoa. And I've seen where some people posed him up with Cobra Commander, and it is David and Goliath big. It is that noticeable of a difference. The chariot itself is amazing. They didn't take any liberties with modernizing or upgrading, so to speak. A lot of the collectors they done a few things with him that fit. Sometimes they go a little too far with other things. It is like 100% recreation of the one we had in our childhood. It looks great. The turbine even turns in there. It's really cool. The mouth opens. So I had a lot of fun last night unboxing this thing and posing it around, and I stayed up far later than I should have. Trying because then I had to like rearrange my Joe shelf, and then because I changed there, I had to change like a couple other shelves. I'm fucking weird this way, so I didn't get into bed kind of late, and I got in the doghouse over this. But the other thing I had arrived Monday was the Mega Powers. I was pumped. I was excited when I got my notification because typically, Ringside Collectibles, you guys are on point. You shit the bed with my Mega Powers though. The box itself didn't really look outside of the shipping box. Looked fine. I could tell where it was a little crease, one section there. So I mean, some of that's postal, I guess. Pull him out, and the entire back corner is crushed on my Mega Powers. I was devastated. So I reached out to them and I got the old shipping label to send back. So I'm waiting to see if I get one back because now I know what's going to happen. They're going to be out of fucking stock. I almost guarantee you this. So on that there, that was the meat and potatoes of what I got this week. I did get some cool emails saying that Mindbender's on the way. My Python Patrol Bat and Viper are on the way. So all of these guys should arrive within the next couple of days. And I'm pretty stoked about that. So I've got room. I made room on the shelf last night for them. And hopefully, maybe by the next time we record or the time after, I'll have my permanent station set back up. So we'll be in there. You can see a few of these things.
Yeah. You brought this up about having to stay up and move all your stuff around. I got some arrivals as well, and I got some more coming in, but that's the only reason I haven't opened to what has arrived so far is just because I've got to resituate. I had a spot picked out for one thing, but I've got to resituate stuff that's already there, and I have nowhere to go with it until I pick up another bookcase and get it put together, which I've got ordered, but I got to go pick it up later today and get it put together and then move things. And by the time I do all that, I'll finally, maybe later in the week, get to actually unbox the new stuff and put it out. But I haven't opened up anything that's arrived just because I have nowhere to go with it. I just got stuck. I was like, well, I can't.
It
do
always
that until I
winds
move
up
things.
being a rabbit hole for me because, like, the girl child come over last night, and she wanted to watch the new Christmas Story sequel, which is, ooh.
I've got it saved, but I haven't turned it on yet.
If you're a fan of the original, and like for us, that's why we wanted to watch it because every Christmas, TBS plays it 24 hours. So typically, on Christmas morning, for years, we cut that on. The kids open gifts. I make French toast and cook breakfast. That's just our tradition. So she was pretty pumped and excited. So she came over. We were going to watch this, and if you're a fan of the original, there'll be some parts that you kind of chuckle and have a good laugh at, and it has a real good feel-good ending. I will say that. But the lulls in between, they're kind of bad. They're brutal. Even to a fan. So I got to fool on that a little later than because it's quality time. It was Thanksgiving. And like a dummy, I went in there and I was like, I'm going to just move one or two things.
You can't stop once you start.
No.
That's my problem.
Literally, I started tweaking things and moving stuff, and then I was like setting shit up, and the next thing I know, I look at my watch, and I'm like, holy fucking! I tried to ease in the bed, and yeah. First thing my fiance looks at me, she says, "Is it 12:40?" It is. So yeah.
See, that's why I haven't even started, because I know once I open up what I've got to unbox, I want to put it out, but I can't put it out till I move the other stuff. So it's a whole chain of events, and I'm like, I might as well not even open it, because I don't want to just open it and leave it standing here or sitting here on a desk or something where it's not supposed to be, because it's going to drive me nuts until it's where it's supposed to be. But I haven't opened up
Absolutely.
anything that's arrived, but I haven't really had time to read or watch anything else either. I've just been trying to, like I said, I had a long drive Wednesday and just got home. We're recording on Friday now, and Thursday was holiday, so it's just been too much time. But did you have anything else in your geek week, or was that?
Uh, no, that pretty much knocked it out. Like I said, got a few things going on. I intend to watch The Power of the Doctor this weekend. I'm gonna make myself sit down and do this. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And I have
Yeah,
seen some really cool things on what they have upcoming. And the only thing that is sad about it is it looks like it's spread out further than what I care for. Like
uh,
I seen where there's without giving too much away, there's an 8-part series you're going to call it that they're going to do, and it'll have the 14th Doctor. But then you'll have some throwbacks to some other Doctors because of what's going on in that story. But it's like a lot of you get a couple parts of it in 2023, and then it has like the finale of it in 2024.
yeah, they drag their stuff out and they do their short seasons. I haven't actually looked at watching that yet. I mean, the only thing I have planned for the rest of this long weekend off is trying to catch up on reading some of my comics. I've caught up on most of my TV shows before I even came home, but I've got to catch up on reading, and I've got 2 months worth of books I haven't had a chance to touch really.
I have quite the mound I have got to start working through because I got really interested in Anti-Attorney of He-Man, and I have the trade paperback with that, and I've been meaning to get into it, and I just haven't yet. So yeah, I got to get back. I got to get into that.
Yeah, but for me, I mean, besides that, the only thing I've had for my geek week, other than trying to catch up now, is I did have Arrivals, like I said, very similar to you, but I had Galactus arrive, and I haven't had a chance to open it because I got a spot for it, but I got to clear the spot first. And then my Retro Beast arrived, and I was like, well, I got somewhere I can already put him, but I just want to have an opening party when I start opening stuff, because I also still have a Storm Shadow to open and a Vulcan that I had just picked up on clearance sales at Target, and I was going to put them in my displays, and I haven't opened them either, so I got to do all that. But I still also have 2 orders from Big Bad Toy Store that I'm waiting on to arrive as 2 pile of loots. One of them was like 12 items, and the other was like 16, so a lot to deal with there. And then I do have 2 more packages from Hasbro Pulse on the way, one of them being Mindbender, and I think the other is a gift for the kid. And then I did actually break down, as much as I said I wasn't going to do it. After watching the reviews of it, I couldn't help it. I broke down and bought the X Transbots Ultra Magnus because he is so much more
Ah,
powerful. Some of the look of him is as bulky as the Hasbro one, or the Takara, I should say, but he's much more posable. And then his backpack, he doesn't have this big, basically on that old one, the big cab and everything's hanging out the back of him. But in
yeah.
this new one, and it's like a huge butt flap on. But in this new one, it's a straight clean backpack. And I was like, man, I can't not do that, because he's, other than Prime, he's my number 2 character out of Transformers. So I was like, oh, they had him on sale at or not on sale. They had him in stock at TF Source, and they were giving away, if you spend over $200, you get another free like small Transformers gift from him. I was like, he's over 200, so I'm just gonna break down and get him.
It's a
So
must.
he's shipped, supposed to arrive I think by like Wednesday or something. So I'll have fun unboxing him when he gets here. But I still got to get through the others first. And I said I'm just waiting on a new bookcase to arrive so I can put stuff out and open what I've got here. But that will probably be later this week. It will not be right away. It won't be this weekend either, because I plan on taking it easy this weekend. I got to catch up on some rest.
I hear you.
But after that, that's all I had, and we went through yours. So why don't we go straight into our focus topic? We were going to talk Survivor Series, but we were doing it. We were using the concept of Survivor Series, which is this weekend because it is Thanksgiving weekend. I think it's actually tomorrow, right? It's War Games this year
It
as well.
is tomorrow.
So we wanted, last year we talked about strictly Survivor Series stuff. This year we wanted to put a little spin on it. So we're doing a superhero and supervillain Survivor Series matchup. I think Hassel put together a card for us. Because I was traveling, so I only like squeezed in one match, but Hassel had time to build us a whole card. So what we're going to do is share what those cards are and talk through who we think would win and who would survive. And we might debate a little bit of it. Most of the time we agree, but I'm sure we'll have some disagreements on some of it. But we'll get to a fleshed out outcome and share that with you. And if you guys want to comment on any of the matches we put together and your thoughts on what they are, or if you think you have some other matches you would have liked to hear about, feel free to share that in the comments. But I think with that, I'll turn it over to you, Hassan, and let you kick us off and whatever our opening bout is. And so we are doing just the matches and who wins out of those, right? This is not like the older Survivor Series where whoever survives goes on to the last one, correct? I can't remember.
No,
I know we talked about
no.
that earlier,
I mean, while that is my favorite format, I felt like some of the fun matches you could have with some of the lower tier, street level heroes would not fare so well if they get to the final and they're in there with like galactic beings. So we just went with.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, Batman. We all talk shit, but I mean, he's not going to really fare well in the matchup with Darkseid or Thanos.
No.
So
I threw the one match in. Do we want that to be the opener, or do you want that later in the card, like as the bathroom break? Because it is a smaller match compared to some of the ones I know you put together.
No, man, we can kick off the show with it. We can start out hot. We need some kind of kick and get the fans pumped, anyways.
All right, so I will run through this, and then I'll let you run through the rest of them because I know you put most of the card together. But our first match was Team Ninja Turtle versus Team Power Rangers. And for the Ninja Turtles, we've got, of course, the 4 Turtles: Leo, Donnie, Mikey, Raph, and then we threw Casey Jones in as the 5th member of the team.
You sure you didn't want to squeeze in the one my daughter used to call the 5th turtle for years, Alfredo?
I'm not sure if that noodle will fare too well.
Yeah, not at all. It's a good noodle though.
Yeah, good noodle sauce, I should say, but same thing. For Power Rangers, we decided to go Mighty Morphin era, and we pulled from not just the original team, but also some of the replacements for the original. So we've got Jason and Tommy, Zach, Adam, and Rocky.
It's a stellar squad right here.
It is. So I will be honest and share with you my thoughts. I think that at the end, I think the Turtles will probably pull this out in the end only because they are a little more. They're willing to go that one step further. I mean, they have fought with other ninjas and stuff in the past, and even if it's animated series, they don't maybe do this, but later series and then of course in the comics, they were willing to go to the length of killing, whereas Rangers, yeah, they destroy a monster, but they don't actually kill anything beyond that. So.
They were only just teens with attitudes.
Yeah, and I don't know what your opinion is. Who do you think pulls out this one?
Can we at least agree that Casey Jones is the first one to take the fall?
Oh gosh, yes.
And I think it's like almost that Bushwhacker Luke Rumble deal where he just comes on one side, goes out the other, and keeps marching back. It's going to be a fairly quick one on him for me.
Oh, I think he goes out first before anybody else.
Absolutely. So the question is, who is a soul? So is there a sole survivor on this, or do we come down to? I mean, is it the 4 standing to none, or?
I think personally, it. And I'm gonna probably get heat for this, but I think Leo and Mikey are the 2 that survived from the team.
Really?
Raphael was good in the hothead, but he was a great and strong fighter. But I also think he loses out just because of his temper. I think it gets the best of him and he gets taken down and pinned.
I can see this. As pretty much like the Diesel Bret Hart finish where he's toying with him because he's got him, and then all of a sudden they play possum and pin him with a small package, some bullshit.
And they've always shown in all the Turtle stuff that Mikey is actually a very adept because he's so adaptable. He's a very adept ninja just because of that. So I think he survives, but I think Leo is the one who pulls out the win for him in the end. I think Mikey is just still there and not actually gone by that time.
I can 100% agree. Leo pulls out the win. I got Leo as a sole survivor on this. I think Mikey gets in there with a little too much shenanigans and has it in his hands and gets it going.
Yeah, and I think from Power Rangers, I think it gets down to, I think you lose Zach and Rocky probably fairly early. I think Adam stays long enough for at least Donnie to be gone, maybe even Raph. But I think Jason and Tommy are the ones who pull this out towards the end until they both go to probably to Leo, to be honest.
Hey, you know something I didn't think about it just now. Okay, we got Zach and Adam. Who is actually the Black Ranger, and what power set does the other one have?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe we transfer one of them to the White Ranger if you use Tommy as green.
Okay.
Or you could do the other and have Tommy be the white and one of them take the green powers.
Okay.
And we didn't have a Blue Ranger. I would probably drop Rocky as the blue one. Yeah, just because I don't think Billy survives. I don't think Billy makes it into the match.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Him as a Blue Ranger. I think you have Rocky. I think you have Jason as red. To me, Jason red, Tommy green, Zach black, Adam white, and Rocky as the blue one.
I can get behind that. Okay. So we have Leonardo and Michelangelo as your winners of the bout.
And I'm not totally opposed to Leo being the sole survivor. So if that's the route we went, that would be fine too. I was just trying to think of how do you. I don't think all four turtles survive, and I really don't think, even though Raph is the physically strongest turtle, I don't think he makes it to the end. I think Leo's the main one who pulls it out for him.
Yeah, because Donatello, while he is one of my more favorite ones, I see him kind of getting overwhelmed, against maybe a Jason or a Tommy, or something. Zach and Michelangelo could be a fun portion of that match.
I think the two of them, and I think Michelangelo versus Adam would be interesting because Adam had that acrobatic type of kung fu style against Michelangelo, who was very adaptable. So I think that would be a fun fight as well.
I could just see Zach hitting him with that capoeira shit and
hip hop keto.
Oh man, fucking him up.
Oh, that's pretty good. All right, so that was our opener. What's our next bout, sir? And I'm gonna have to write some of these as we go, just so I don't forget who's in the match, so I can speak to them.
So as we move into the second matchup, we have the Crime Alley Crew, which will consist of the Batman, Nightwing, Red Hood, Ra's al Ghul, and Bane. Yes, there are villains on this team. There are some of these teams the majority of these are Marvel versus DC. They will be what best represents their area. So they will face off against the Hell Kitchen Devils. Can't have Hell Kitchen's Devils without Daredevil. Gotta have his Hoochie Electra. We got the Punisher. We got Iron Fist. And their wild card, the Kingpin.
Okay. That's an interesting one. Ooh. So who do you think, because I went first on the last one, who do you think pulls out the win in this ultimately?
I'm going to give the edge to the Crime Alley Crew on this one right here. I think the Batman squad works better together, even with Ra's al Ghul and Bane. Because Bane, while he can be a hothead, was a very, very intelligent, tactical guy to begin with before they kind of muddied him up. And Ra's, he's the demon. So I think they edge out the Hell's Kitchen Devils just because I don't see them playing well together. Punisher is going to be a hothead.
Yeah.
I'll
be honest with you. I think he probably, as great as he is, I think either him or Kingpin go out first. And I agree. I think the Crime Alley Crew wins this ultimately.
How fun would it be to see Kingpin and Bane go at it, though?
That would be interesting. You know what I think happens? I think Punisher goes out first because I think he's the old school one of how do they survive, coexist, and he just turns on his own team just because Kingpin's there.
You know what? I could very, very, very well be it.
I think he does that, and then he ends up getting taken out from the opposite side just because of that.
It helps Kingpin get pinned, and then in the skirmish, the two scuffle, and he gets a pin.
So we do Bane versus Kingpin to open up, and Bane, they have a good fight, but Bane ends up winning out because Punisher betrays Kingpin, and then Punisher is the one standing in the ring, so he takes over for the team, and then he goes out next. Probably not by Bane. He probably takes Bane, but I don't think he takes anybody else from the Bat family or Roz.
No. I can actually see maybe honestly Bane is the one I see kind of going down for this team. Maybe Red Hood, and then the other three survive.
Yeah, I think the other three survive, and I think probably the highlight reel of the match is Daredevil versus Nightwing. Those two acrobatic styles have got.
That would be very good. That would be very good.
Because I see them having a great acrobatic fight, and then Wing tagging out to Batman, and Batman just he's not going to put up with the acrobatic stuff. He's just going to nail Daredevil and be done with it at some point.
Which Red Hood and Punisher would be fun for a short spell too.
That could be good.
If we didn't have the drama of the other. But you got to have your sports entertainment in a Survivor Series. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, I think your crime alley pulls out, like you said, and Batman, Nightwing, and Roz surviving makes a lot of sense to me.
With that being said, we'll move on to the third card, or the third match in the card. We got the Arkham Inmates, the Joker, Killer Croc, Clayface, Black Mask, and Two-Face. And they will do battle with the Sinister Rogues, Dr. Octopus, Kraven, Hobgoblin, Sandman, and the Jackal. And I know the Jackal is kind of an odd pairing for the Sinister Sixes, but I just kind of went more with Spider-Man Rogues.
I think he's the first one you sacrifice from the team.
I can see this.
Because he's not really a great fighter by any means.
No.
I think you lose him, and you probably lose Black Mask right afterwards, if not before.
Okay.
Man, I gotta be honest. I gotta pull for the Rogues on this. I'm not sure that some of the ones on the Arkham team can really deal with what you have on the Sinister Six side here, or Sinister Rogues, I should say.
I would like to see the Kraven Killer Croc.
I want to see that fight.
That right there in itself will be the price of admission. I do think the Rogues get the W. And I want to say that I think probably Doc Ock and Kraven are the two survivors.
I can see that because I can see Doc Ock. I definitely see being a survivor, and then
Kraven, I see Sandman and Clayface somehow having a double elimination.
That or
like something about their powers.
I think the two of them are in there and going at it, and I think the Joker just ekes in there and takes both of them out, and just even though he loses a teammate to whatever,
it's sacrifice to get rid of the other.
Yeah, because Joker's unpredictable.
This is true.
Black Mask and Two-Face, I don't see lasting very long. I think Croc and Kraven have the best matchup in the fight, but I think in the end, Doc Ock takes out Joker, and yeah. I see Doc Ock being there, and Kraven. I think if he survives against Croc, then he stays as well.
Outstanding. The next one's the one that I kind of battled with putting together. I was a little worried it was a little too one-sided, but there are a lot of really good things. So we start off representing DC. We got Task Force X, Bronze Tiger, Katana, King Shark, Killer Frost, and Plastique. And they're squaring up against Weapon X, Wolverine, Sabretooth, Deadpool, Maverick, and their wild card, Romulus.
You had Deadpool in there too? Because I think I missed one of them. Okay.
Yeah, Deadpool. I'm going to be honest, I almost put Kane in there. He was real close to being in there, and then I kind of just said, you know what, I'm gonna throw Romulus in there.
So I'm going to tell you, I think this one. Well, I'll let you go because I spoke first on the last one. So why don't you go ahead first, and I'll give you my opinion.
I could see it going both ways in a lot of ways. So just because of the certain characters in there, because I mean, Bronze Tiger don't get the love he deserves sometimes for being such a great tactician and hand-to-hand combatant. And you got some powerful people on there. Katana, she's a shit, but I mean, obviously they're not going to have swords in the ring.
Right.
So that does take a little bit away from her. On the other hand, I mean, I would think that would also mean Wolverine does not get to use his claws. Nor does Romulus. So, which Romulus' claws were fake any damn ways, I guess, or aesthetics. So, I don't know. I still got Team Weapon X.
I agree that Weapon X wins, and to be honest, I'll give you my opinion. I think it's 3 survivors out of Weapon X. I think they only lose 2 people.
Who you got going down?
Maverick and Romulus.
Oh wow.
I think Romulus has a knockdown drag out against King Shark at some point, but he ends up going out. And then Maverick, I think Maverick is probably your earliest elimination off that team.
I had Maverick going pretty early, and Deadpool was my other one that I had going, honestly. Just because of some bullshit I could see him getting wrapped up in, maybe.
I could see him getting himself counted out.
I could see that, or somehow or another, him trying to do some flirty shit with Killer Frost or Plastique and getting eliminated.
Yeah, that could be as well. So yeah,
personally, I think Romulus is a little bit too much of a thinker and a planner to allow himself to be eliminated. But just my point on it.
Yeah, I definitely see Wolverine and Sabretooth making it to the end. Bronze Tiger and King Shark would be my 2 that would last the furthest from Task Force X.
I can see that, and I can see it getting down to Bronze Tiger, and none of the Weapon X have been eliminated, and then he starts working through the ones he does get. You know, how they sometimes go all the way down to 1, and then they start working their way, and I'm like, holy shit, he's going to come back, and then the squash.
So to your point, I think you lose Deadpool before that, just because he's probably going to do something stupid to get him out. And then
maybe he's the first eliminated for Weapon X.
Yeah, and Tiger,
absolute opposite.
Bronze Tiger then after losing the rest of his team probably to Romulus or Sabretooth, just because it's them. But I think you get down to where it's Bronze Tiger alone, and he takes out Maverick. Then he probably takes out just a worn out Romulus if he had to have a knockdown drag out with King Shark. And then I don't think he takes either Sabretooth or Wolverine. I think Sabretooth did some damage earlier in the match before Romulus took over, and then Wolverine takes out Bronze Tiger to me.
Okay, we can go with it a lot. I would pay to watch this.
I would as well. I'm actually excited to watch Survivor Series. It's probably my number. I'd say it's my number 3 because my favorite is Royal Rumble, just because I love the Rumble match, and then there's WrestleMania, and it's hard to beat Mania, but Survivor Series is fun in its own right, just because it's different.
Yeah, it's kind of for me like SummerSlam used to have that vibe where it was like, oh man, I had to watch this.
I don't really care about it anymore. It's not
I don't either.
In years.
And Mania is Mania. I'm going to watch it, but I don't feel like I have to watch Mania anymore, especially when it's 2 nights. I just don't like the 2 night setup.
Yeah.
But Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and Money in the Bank have always been 3 that you know something cool is going to happen.
See, I actually preferred the Money in the Bank match. I would rather see them take that back to being 2 Money in the Bank matches in the actual WrestleMania. I don't care.
Well, it's rumored to be going that route. That's kind of what I keep hearing is that.
That's the only 2 matches in the card usually that's any good. So I really don't care about it having its own pay-per-view. I just would like to see a women's and a men's and have them one on each. If you're going to have 2-night WrestleMania, put one on each night, and that could be your spot show, really.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that there. I mean, I keep hearing that's what the route they're talking about going, but
I've heard that as well. But I know we took a little aside there. What's our next matchup?
This next one for me was a guilty pleasure. It was just, and the only reason I started to tweak a few things, but I couldn't because of 2 other matches. But for the Marvel side, we got Team 90s Extreme, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, Venom. Holy shit. I just realized something. I had Deadpool in this match as well.
So let's swap him out for somebody else. So finish the rest of your roster, then we'll swap him out. We'll make an on-air decision. Cable?
Yeah, Cable.
So we need 90s. 90s goodness.
Come up with go with Gambit.
That'll work.
I don't know how that escaped me because I was very close. I was very careful. I thought I was on this match because I really at one point wanted to have that knockoff Fantastic Four from the 90s where you had Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, Hulk, Joe Fixit, and Wolverine. And
Yeah,
because
but
there's some other matches, I couldn't.
I think where you put Wolverine was better, and then I'm sure we'll see Hulk again later. But yeah, I was fixing to say I was fixing to say Scarlet Spider if you didn't go Gambit just to make it, but then we're almost to a Spider-Man versus something else theme.
So for the 90s side, I got Team 90s Hard Justice. Because nothing says 90s like Hard Justice.
Oh no, they called it Extreme Justice actually. That was the title that they
had.
know
what that is? I couldn't remember. And I was sitting there and said,
they had Justice League Task Force and Extreme Justice.
That was the porn I saw that was Hard Justice. I don't know.
I don't need to know about all that.
Either way, the team consists of Azrael Batman, the Eradicator, Kyle Rayner Green Lantern, Warrior, and Extant. And I probably mispronounced that, but I don't know. He was really cool as shit from 0 Hour to me. He was the former Hulk.
Yes, and that's really what downplayed it because I didn't understand why they did that. Because Extant was a cool idea especially for that storyline, but originally he was Monarch in the Armageddon 2001 storyline. However, he wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be Captain Atom, and that got leaked. And back then, you didn't have a lot of internet leaks and stuff, so they said they just took it a turn at the last minute. Said, "Oh, we're going to make it Hawk just because we don't want to use him." Now all of a sudden, he's also Extant. I'm like, why is he two different villains? And he was already a B-list hero at best.
But then in 52, what was it? Was it 52 or what was after the other one they done after 52? He was back, and it was actually Captain Atom as Monarch.
Yeah. Well, Captain
Atom countdown to 52. That's what it was.
Well, and then Captain Atom became Monarch actually in that Extreme Justice title. They had a future version of Captain Atom as Monarch. He had taken the armor from Hulk. I was like, what? You guys are just spinning your wheels here because you didn't get what you wanted the first time. But anyway, I digress.
That's the Lex Luger of the DC dimension.
Oh Lord.
So, Monster, what you got on this one right here?
Man, I honestly think that you pull out a win with the Marvel team only because of Spider-Man. Ghost Rider is going to do some damage as well, but I think Spider-Man is what pulls it out for me. And honestly, that's saying a lot when you have some characters like Kyle Rayner and Eradicator, but I just don't think they had the experience to take out Spider-Man.
I can see this here, and I went with Eradicator just because one, he oozes the 90s.
Yeah,
but great two design. Out of the I would have had to been him or Steel out of those 90s Supermen that come out because you couldn't have Cyborg or Superboy because they're just fucking next level power.
Yeah,
and I to kind of make it levelish, that's the way I went there.
I think Eradicator has to be taken out by either Cable or Ghost Rider because he does have all of Superman's powers plus the energy blast instead of heat vision, but Ghost Rider is Mystic, so he can take that out. And Cable, if he unleashes his full telekinetic abilities, he is God level powered. If he's Omega level mutant, if he didn't have to fight the Technovirus.
How cool would Ghost Rider and Asbats be though? And does the Penance Stare work on Azrael Batman?
I don't know because he thinks everything he does is holy and right. So does he really feel he's a
righteous character? Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's probably how you lose Ghost Rider in this match. Because
maybe he's taken aback by his Penance Stare not working and
exactly
gets got.
I think so. I think the first person you honestly lose is Warrior though. Yeah, Guy Gardner as Warrior was
people shit on that though. I actually thought that was a cool concept for him.
If it had been a brand new character, yeah, but using somebody who'd already had such a backstory, I think it was kind of a waste.
So we got Warrior going down first.
I think you lose him. I think you lose him pretty quickly to probably to Gambit. but I think Extant takes Gambit
Ooh.
out.
Okay.
And then you've probably got Venom. Either Venom or Cable taking out Extant. I think Cable loses to. I think he probably loses to Eradicator.
It would almost have to be. I think like maybe a tag team move with Kyle and Eradicator.
Yeah, and I think that leaves Venom and Kyle in the ring, and Venom just decimates him. I don't think Kyle ever had the experience to really take a Venom out. But then
I can see him being overwhelmed a little bit by the visualization of Venom.
I think you have Eradicator come back in the ring, then take out Venom. Ghost Rider takes out Eradicator.
We're down to Asbats. Asbats is and there were Spider-Man and the Rider at this point.
I think Spider-Man can. Well, actually, you know what? I'll take that back. I think that instead of Ghost Rider and Eradicator, I think you'd have Spider-Man take out Eradicator just to prove, once again that he can overpower even those beyond power people. Tags out the Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider deals with Asbats, and you have Spider-Man and Ghost Rider surviving. So I think this Penance Stare. I think Spider-Man and Asbats have a good little matchup. But I think the Penance Stare not working for Ghost Rider that might take Rider out against Asbats. I might have said that backwards, so I apologize. I think Spider-Man is the sole survivor. I think Asbats takes out Ghost Rider because the Penance, and then Spider-Man and Asbats have a good fight.
The shot gives him a small package, maybe.
Yeah.
Or a quick DDT.
That'd be interesting. So we basically go back and forth in this one, which is pretty good because we haven't really done that too much.
So far, this is a match of the card.
Yeah, I think the fight between Spider-Man and Asbats would be really interesting.
That moves us on.
You might even get Spider-Man in there for a little bit against Kyle Rayner and just like him moving all around his constructs and stuff.
That could be very cool. Fun. That could be
that'd be a cool little spot for the match, but it wouldn't last long.
The kind of quipping back and forth, a little banter.
Yeah,
that would be a pretty neat little panel too.
That would be fun.
So that being said, Monster, it's time for the main event. It's time for War Games.
Oh, so we're going War Games with this.
We're going War Games here.
Two rings in the steel
match
cage.
beyond. Yes, sir.
All right.
So this is the one match where we had Marvel and DC team up on both sides. And the reason we did this, faces heels in the match beyond for the fate of all mankind. So we have Team Hope with Team Captain, who better for Team Hope? Superman. Followed up by Hulk, Thor, Martian Manhunter, and the Blue Marvel.
Okay.
And they will be facing Team Death with Team Captain Darkseid, who will be followed up by Thanos, Doomsday, Apocalypse, and Cyborg Superman Hank Henshaw.
All right, let me throw you one curveball into it. These teams need to have managers.
Ooh. I was just thinking we need managers and a special referee.
I think Captain America is the manager for Team Hope.
I got that.
I think Lex Luthor is the manager for Death.
Ooh. I like that. I can see him as a very Bobby, but he's got to wear a Bobby Heenan jacket with some kind of saying on the back and some sparkles.
I could go with that. Just say Lex Corp on the back and a bunch of sparkles. That would be enough for him.
Right there. So, okay, who would be the unbiased, impartial official for a match like this right here? Official, enforcer, however you want to put it.
If you want it to be the official and they're completely unbiased, I think you have to go almost with a you have to go almost with some kind of cosmic powered person who doesn't really fall into
Watcher.
either category. Watcher would be a good one.
I mean, they actually are powerful beings. They just don't do
Yeah.
shit with their power.
Yeah. I was thinking you'd have to do something like a Watcher, or, if you have, he leans more towards hero because he does the Lord of Order, but there's times where it's just for Dr. Fate, he's not really, he doesn't really fit all the way into being a hero sometimes. But I like the Watcher a little bit better, honestly.
Okay. Unless you want to go the Spectre.
I thought about that too, but then I was like,
He might be a wild card in there and start wiping everybody out. So we go with a Watu, huh?
yeah, I'm good with that.
All righty. So we got some pretty loaded characters on both sides here. Who starts this match out? Let's don't even say who goes out first. Who starts this match out? Do we go the route of two brawling brutes, or do we go the route with the stare? Where you do the circling, the pumps, and the stare down and all this.
I honestly think with this, you start. I honestly think from Team Hope, I think Hulk starts out. I don't think he's going to allow anybody else to start the match. I think he's going to be that hothead who's like, I got to go in first.
Him and Doomsday.
That's a good fight to start out with, just a bunch of power moves.
Because both of these are two. I don't want to say mindless, but just two raging beasts. You start the match off hot until that first person comes in. So how about we'll put the 1 and 2 by them, because the match can't end or go anywhere until all the participants are in anyways.
That's true.
Who gets the advantage, Monster? I'm putting this in your hands. Who gets the team advantage?
I think you have to go with the villains having the advantage.
Yes.
Because I think the faces have to me at the end, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but the faces have to come out on top. And I think with that being said, I think you let the villains constantly kind of get the upper hand.
You got to build that sympathy where they're getting beat down and the 2-on-1 advantage from time to time. So who comes in second for Team Death?
Ooh, so we started with Doomsday, right?
Yes, sir.
I think you pull in. I think you have I'm leaning towards either Cyborg Superman or Thanos coming in next.
I can see Thanos coming in and keeping Doomsday on the rails a little bit. Like maybe he is one of the few that I can actually kind of steer him.
Yeah.
So we'll go with him as number 3. So obviously, Hulk's taking a beating at this point. You got Thanos and Doomsday in there, so they got to be kicking the shit out of him at this point.
Yes.
Who makes the hot tag to level the playing field?
So let me ask this: do you think they even do a hot tag to level it, or do you think Hulk goes out before somebody gets there?
I don't think the way War Games work, anyone can go out.
You can't
even do. Yeah, you can't do pinfall, submission, or anything.
Okay, so
until everyone gets.
I did not remember that, so that's my bad. Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of it has to get both all members of the team have to be in there before the match beyond actually begins, in which it ends in pinfall or submission. Or surrender is what they call it, I think. So basically, whoever comes in is going to have to kind of give him a little bit of a breather where he can catch his breath in the corner, get angry, pump back and Hulk up a little bit, so to speak.
So do you send in Thor as another brawler to help him, or do you send in a Martian Manhunter or a Blue Marvel to come in with a game plan of how to help him? I almost think you come in with somebody who's a planner to try and help him out.
I think we sent Manhunter in to kind of do the same thing as what Thanos is trying to do for Doomsday. You come in, I mean, obviously Manhunter is strong enough to, and the only reason I said him over Blue Marvel is because he does have the mind, psychic abilities. He can kind of come in. He's powerful enough and with enough versatile abilities to hold his own a little bit against Thanos and Doomsday while Hulk catches it, and then he can nudge something in Hulk's brain to pump him and also not let him be too mindless.
That's fair. I like that.
I think Marvel could come in there and hold his own with him. However, like I said, I think the mental ability is what.
That's probably good. I can agree with that.
So at this point, Manhunter's in there. He's making the hot hits. Hulk catches his wind. He comes back, and it's starting to be a good 2-on-2 brawl here. Who comes in here to knock it out for the team death and get them back down?
I think you go Cyborg Superman now. I think if Apocalypse comes, he's just kind of gonna. I don't think he's gonna come and be like, okay, I'm taking over and beating everybody down. I think when he shows up, it's more of a subdued. Okay, I'm here. If you mess with me, I'll fight with you.
Okay. Well, I can see Henshaw coming in here and really doing some damage at this point. His whole, Manhunter's got to be wore down some because he had to face them two by himself for a little bit. Hulk's obviously beat down from the beginning. But then they're both eased back up, but, they still have a bit of weakness to them. So this is where Henshaw really shines, I think.
I think so too.
All right, so he's in here and he's putting the old triple threat on him. Is this where we have to bring in say Blue Marvel or Thor?
I think since you brought in Martian Manhunter last, I think I would bring in Thor now just to have a difference of the type of person you're bringing, because Blue Marvel strikes me very similar to Martian Manhunter.
Okay. Well, I do think Thor and his abilities, he could actually level things off for a long enough period where everybody can get back up. Like he could come in and do some damage to Henshaw, but at the same time, maybe do something to neutralize everyone long enough to kind of allow his team to get back up there to where it's more fair 3-on-3.
That's fair.
So with that being said, I'm assuming we're on the same trajectory mentally here. Apocalypse is next.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree with that.
So with that being said, without anything, Blue Marvel, because I almost feel like it's got to be Superman being the final member of Team Hope.
Oh yeah.
Like Blue Marvel comes in, they make it hot, so they start getting an advantage maybe, and just as they're getting the advantage, that's when Darkseid comes in, and he starts cleaning the house, and the heels are truly edging them out. It's looking like there's no hope. And then at that time, the buzzer goes off, the Hulk Hogan music plays, and Superman hits the ring and starts clearing house.
Yeah. I honestly, I think he, as good as all these are, I think that maybe one or two people can go out from someone else, but I think Superman eliminates at least 3 of these people on his own.
Well, in fairness, in the War Games, you only have to eliminate one member.
Do you? I thought you had to eliminate their whole team.
No, not unless the WWE changed it from the original.
I haven't watched any of WWE's version. That's why I haven't seen one in so long, because it hasn't been since WCW since I've seen one.
In the WCW, in a Dusty Rhodes version, baby, if you will, it only took one member to lose your match. Because I do remember probably the better ones was where Brian Pillman lost it for his team because he already had a bum shoulder, and Sid kept power bombing him because he was with the Four Horsemen. And he had done like Plex slammed him into the damn ceiling a few times. And So that they had to kind of throw in the towel for Pillman. So everybody's in there. We got all 10 people in the ring. The match beyond has finally begun. Do our managers get in a scuffle on the outside?
Oh, I think so, but I think it's a very short scuffle. I think this is one of these managers is not like the other. One is just going to slap happy the other one real quick if he gets in his
Is
face.
it kind of along the lines of when good old Chuck Norris super kicked JEFFJARRETT?
Yeah, it's going to be something like that.
I got you. I like that. That's a little outside flair. So who takes the fall for Team Death?
Wow. It's to me, if it's just got to be one of them that goes down, I think it's either Doomsday or Cyborg Superman. Cyborg Superman, as strong as he is, does not match up to the rest of these in his planning and power quite to their same level they do. I mean, even though Apocalypse maybe not as physically powerful, he's still right up there, right?
Yeah.
But he's a better planner to me. But Doomsday is mindless brute.
I'm almost going to go somehow Superman and Blue Marvel get Henshaw off to himself and they pull something on him to make him surrender.
That could be interesting.
I don't know what. I'm saying he's a cyborg. You could actually get away with a little more. I mean, maybe they pull his arms off. I don't know. That's more along the lines of what I would see the Hulk doing to him, honestly. Possibly.
Possibly.
Maybe Hulk pulls his arms off and Superman does the top pin and Blue Marvel holds his legs for a good 1, 2, 3.
That would be interesting.
So I'm open to something else. I mean,
no, I think the only other thing you could really do would be saying, okay, all this carnage is going on, and if you bring it down to the very end, and then Superman and Darkseid and Superman just finally quits holding back and just waylays him and takes him out.
Well, see, that's what I was kind of figuring.
Because then you have your big heroic moment.
When he hits the ring, it's going to almost be the Hogan Andre square off, just where they stand there staring at one another for a few minutes, kind of like the Mania 3. And then it begins.
Yeah, that would be good.
Maybe Thanos takes the fall. Just because of how ridiculous they've made him the last few years. Let's bust him back to his roots. And
I like Thanos as a villain, but they have really, because of the way they've done him in the MCU, and they've had to continuously push him to be so much more powerful than he was only powerful back in the 90s because of the gauntlet. I mean, he was powerful on his own, could do some damage, but he wasn't stopping a Thor or Hulk dead in his tracks like he has in recent years.
They've got a little ridiculous with it in the last few years. That's why I did love, and I know this is a sidetrack when they done the Secret Wars, and the White Doom just shows up and rips his spine from his body, predators his ass. That's what I'm talking about. And I will apologize to Casey and a few others with Dr. Doom not being on this card. I almost feel ashamed. But how do you fit everyone into a card like this?
You don't, and honestly,
we can't have two-night WrestleMania, people.
Besides that, Doom would not lower himself to be engaged in something like this.
There you go.
I don't see that happening.
It is beneath his being.
Yeah. But I think
that being said, let's tally it up. You can't really count the War Games because of that was
that's the face versus heels thing.
Yeah. It looks like Marvel is a 3-1 over over the DC, and then in the expanded the Mutant Ninja Turtles for whatever comic company they reside with now. Dynamite,
IDW
maybe?
and Boom.
Okay, there you go.
I think they're at IDW and because as a matter of fact, they actually teamed up with Boom and done the crossover comics. They're doing a second one now.
So there you go. That being said, we hope you enjoyed what we called the Survivor Series.
Yeah, but before we leave out of here, because we still got a few things left to do. I mean, that takes care of our Survivor Series, but we still got our nerd out. So, for anybody who hasn't been here before, this is where we ask random questions, focus on the topics of the day usually, and have to come up on the spot with answers. And luckily, the last few times I've been smart enough not to put my stuff on the agenda when I send it out, so Hassel hasn't had time to prepare.
He has not.
So let's see. You went first today in the Geek Week, so you get to do the nerd out question first today.
All right. I'm gonna stick with our Survivor Series. Years ago, we were robbed of the Mega Maniacs versus Ric Flair and Razor Ramon. Had we got this matchup like we should have, instead of the perfect partner making the save, how do you see that faring? How does it come out?
I think
and would we look back? Would we look back fondly upon it today?
Well, as fondly as you can. I mean, let's be honest. Macho Man could have a good match. Warrior's not having the greatest match. He knew 5 moves, maybe.
He was a great entrance. He pumped the crowd.
Yeah, I think you end up having. I don't know if you could have them lose. I mean, everybody had to go home happy, right? So I think you had to have them come out with a win, but I don't know that it changes a whole lot of stuff other than that. I mean, I honestly don't even remember who won that match. Was that
Macho Man and Perfect won the match because the next night on Raw, Flair and Perfect had a Loser Leaves Town match because Flair was going back to WCW.
Okay. See, I think you just would have had Flair leave right after that match. That probably would have been the only thing. From my opinion, I don't know how you feel.
Does he lose? Well, I want to say he lost in the match to Perfect, which is why they set up the Loser Leaves Town. So, do you have him lose to Warrior or Macho?
I would prefer Macho, but let's be honest, they kept putting all their eggs in the basket of Warrior being the next generation, so probably Warrior.
Okay.
They really wanted him to be their next Hogan. He never quite. I don't think he ever fulfilled that role. I think he was there popularity wise, but I don't think he could ever fulfill that role.
I think he shook him down for as much money as Hulk made, but this was the card he actually shook him down for a shit ton of money, and they was like, no, and he done shook him down one time before. I think it was at SummerSlam that same year.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Hogan at least backstage his way into his money. Don't do it publicly like Warrior did, because it wasn't hidden when he did it.
Yeah, because I want to say SummerSlam was the one where it was supposed to be him and Hogan versus Slaughter and them, and he held him down for money. And Vince had to pay him. He went out and Vince fired him the time he come back, and then like a dummy brought him back a couple months later. We put him in another high-profile match, and then like the week of Survivor Series, he wanted more money and was.
Yeah, well, it was about time at that point.
Yeah, we didn't see him again until what, 95, so we were good.
Yeah. So what did you think would be different from the outcome of that match? Or
nothing. That's same as what you just said, honestly.
Yeah.
The faces got to go over. I think is I would have had Macho, because Macho still had some gas in the tank.
I think so too, but I don't think that they felt he did.
Unfortunately, they didn't, because that's when he started announcing shortly after this.
Yeah. Well, with that, I'll shoot you my question, and mine is another Survivor Series match. So I went with something we didn't cover in this one, but I figured that as we were doing mostly superhero stuff, and while some of these fall in that category, they weren't all really just superheroes. So I said, okay, what would you, if you had to do your ultimate face and heel Survivor Series teams from 1980s cartoons, who would you use, and who comes out as the winner / survivors? And you don't have to book the whole match, but who do you think would win and survive through it?
Ooh. And what years? 80s, 90s?
You can use 90s cartoons if you need to, but I mostly focused on the 80s cartoons.
Okay. I got Team Captain He-Man. I'm going to have Quicksilver. And yes, I have to write this down. So
you're fine. You're fine, because I'm having to think of it too. So I mean, I'm not writing yours down just because you You're going to share yours, and then I'll share mine. But it's interesting. I already had mine.
I'm gonna go with Sergeant Slaughter since he's a WWFer anyways, and I mean, who better? We got Sarge. I'm gonna go Raphael for my turtle, and for our final member, I'm gonna go Lion-O.
Okay.
And they shall battle, obviously, Skeletor, Monstar.
Good choices. Good choices.
Shredder. Mumra. Now I need one more. I'm trying to think here. I'm gonna go Serpentor. I'm gonna throw him in there for the Sarge. And I think that He-Man and Lion-O are the two sole survivors for my face team.
Okay.
But I would like to see. I do think like Mumra and He-Man will be a really cool interaction. Monstar and Lion-O.
Yeah.
Skeletor and Raphael and Quicksilver. That could be cool. Sarge just putting any of those in a headlock will be awesome. Or putting the cover clutch on any of these maggots. So yeah, that's my ultimate '80s teams.
Interesting. We had some very, very similar ones, and we've had some that were vastly different. So
Brave Star almost made it. I'm gonna be honest.
That's a good choice. So I will go ahead and say I'll start mine, and my face team does have Brave Star. I had Brave Star. I had Duke from G.I. Joe. While I think Sarge is better, Duke was my favorite character, so I got to pull him. Lion-O, Quicksilver, and team captain is He-Man. My heels I had a little bit different. I had a Skeletor, Serpentor, Hordak, Mumra, and Monstar.
Ooh.
I don't really care for Brave Star's villain, so I didn't pull him. I decided I'd take Skeletor and Hordak.
Yeah, Hordak was he was badass. I always, for some reason, liked him better than Skeletor growing up.
Oh yeah,
he was just so much cooler to me.
He was more serious. Skeletor was more comedic relief. I went with Faces winning and the sole survivor being He-Man. I think Lion-O makes it too close to the end, but I think a combination of some of the others could possibly take Lion-O out. Honestly, Serpentor is like the weak link of the heel team. I think he goes down first.
Yeah, well, that was why I chose Sarge over Duke, because believe me, it was some Joes I would have probably rather had. But I was like, you know what, I could see Sarge at least holding his own for a spell.
I think it comes down to me for my list. I think Hordak, Mumra, and Monstar against Lion-O and He-Man at the end, and Lion-O maybe takes out one of those, but He-Man finishes the rest of it off. I don't know. I can't see He-Man going down to any of them. And I actually would take Hordak, Mumra, and Monstar against He-Man alone and probably let him come out on top.
Does he Hulk up at any point?
Oh, of course. He's got to do the whole...
I want to see my He-Man just doing this Hogan shit and just...
Oh, he's going to... But instead of doing he's just going to raise his hand in the middle of the ring and holler by the power of Grayskull.
I got you.
And get repowered to take on till the end.
I like that. And if he gives a corny message at the end of it, even better.
Yeah. He might even say, and now you know. And know he's half the battle. Oh, but with that, I think that brings us mostly to a close for this week. But before we get out of here, as always, let's give some shout out to some of our friends. So we've got Mr. Daniel Garcia, creator of Zyberona, which is on its way to your hands soon. You can catch him on Facebook at Daniel Garcia and on Instagram at D Garcia Comics. Our friend, Mr. Chris Daly, host of the Fueled by Weird podcast. You can find him on Instagram at Fueled by Weird and on his podcast where he discusses all things nerdy and weird and does a lot of really good book reviews and comic reviews. Our friend and content creator, autism activist, Miss Mandy Lynn, aka Kushi Mama, who you can find on Instagram at Kushi Mama and on YouTube at Doodle's Toy Report. Mr. August Aguilar from Strange Film Studios. Remember to keep an eye out for their new project, He Comes to Kill. I know they're premiering that at several festivals right now. Seen a lot of stuff. Did you see yesterday his Stanley Elk Thanksgiving picture where it's like the face right up against the turkey? I was like, that is creepy but funny as all get out.
I also seen where they were at a premiere and they had White Lavender Jones in the background of the bar. So I'm just saying.
The 3 most electrifying names in entertainment. White Lavender Jones.
Maybe.
And also, don't forget our extended nerdy Manroom family member, Big Rob. You can find him on his channel, Big Rob's House of Entertainment and No Chinese Food, where he drops new reviews and unboxings, and as well as shares stories from the road. And Big Rob has a lot of really entertaining stories. I saw he just posted one yesterday. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So, but remember, while you're checking all them out, also go check out our sponsor, These Own Collectibles. You can find them on the internet at theseowncollectibles@gmail.com. on Facebook at These Own Collectibles, or in their store at 305 Main Street, Tifton, Georgia. Help them support the local artist community by supporting their cause of bringing unity through community. Fandoms unite. And with that, I think that brings us to a close today. But before we leave, Hassel, tell everybody where they can find us at.
Man, hit us up on the YouTube. Hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Hit that old bell so you can get alerts to us. Go to Twitter, Nerdy MR Show. Get us at Instagram, The Nerdy Manroom Show, and at Facebook, House Hutchison.
All right. And join us here next time as we discuss our DC reboot. We did Marvel a few weeks ago. Now we're getting ready to do DC as well. Until then, live nerdy and make sure you're the last survivor standing.